Hello everyone, it is Neon here, and as you can see, I'm in Blender. Yay, I'm going to be showing you how to build a roller coaster here. Just started that cube, and I'm going to import one of my pre-made track segments here. It's boxy. You probably can't see the file explorer, but it's there. I'm importing it right now, there it is. And yeah, it's kind of based off of the B&M track here. Just how you basically make it. Basically like two octagonal tubes on each side with a box spine at the bottom center, and a triangle, a 3D triangle as a cross tie. So, yeah. You're going to change the color real quick and set it to, not sure which one. I think blue, but I already made one that's that color blue before, so it's like Volley Force. True Red, that's kind of like I-305. Purple. I gotta make up my mind. Screw it. We'll go with blue. That should be fine for now. That looks pretty good. Okay. And yeah, here we got the blue section of track. And now to add some modifiers to this. First, let's add a curve. This will actually be the curve that the track will form around. Just gonna extend this a little bit so it's a lot easier to see where the track piece goes when I apply the modifier. When I add the modifier, I should say. And I'm just gonna rename this to track. And I'm going to rename the curve to track path. There we go. Alright, now to add the modifiers here, go here to the modifiers tab. And you're going to add an array modifier. And what this will do is basically create an array. And next you're going to add a curve modifier. And use this dropper here to select the curve. Should also add that it's important to that the modifiers are in the correct order. Just gonna rotate it here so that it's aligned with the track. And now to make sure the array modifier is going in the correct direction, I'm just going to, nope, that's not the one. Z, there we go. -1, we'll set that to -1. Set this one to 0. There we go. Now, okay. I'm gonna set this to fit curve, so that way it's a lot easier and I don't have to keep clicking to add more segments. And I'm gonna extend this because you can see this, it'll fit the curve. And now to go to the, not to actually make the actual lift hill, we're just going to add a little extra segment here so that way it is aligned, basically to make sure that the curve behind it doesn't bend. And yeah, just testing that right here, looks going good. And now this is going to be 100 meters tall, aka about 320 something feet tall, which would classify this as a giga coaster. Gonna add this cube here for reference, since a cube in Blender is 2 meters, but for VR chat, it's 2 meters, 2 blender meters is equivalent to 1 unity meter. At least I think so. That's how I measure. Now here I'm just going to count. That's 10. Let's see. Just making sure that is 5 for each one of these larger pieces. Okay, yeah. And what is that? It's 30, 40, 50, 60. That's 200 feet tall. Go up here. Where were we? 60, 70, 80, 90, and 100. Right there. Gonna move the cursor here just by pressing shift left, shift right click. And now to bring this all the way to that point. There we go. I'm gonna move this to a more appropriate angle. Something like that should do. Yeah, it's about 45, maybe even more. All right. And just gonna set that so that way I don't know, what do we call this thing is aligned with the actual curve there. Now to properly curve this little bend here so that way it goes up. And then to add an extra segment right around there. There we go. By the way, don't mind the background noise. It's my recording this in the middle of the day. It's my brother playing around with the cat. Alright, and whoops, didn't mean to rotate it. Alright. Okay, now to figure out how I'm going to curve this top, the very top of this hill. It's a bit tricky. So, yeah. Alright, just making a little curve here to go a little bit down. I don't know, it's just kind of looking a little bit too narrow. I don't know, that's not that big of a curve. Should be a little bit bigger. Yeah. Alright. Just gonna try moving this down a little bit, see if that solves the problem. And I think I have to, yeah, I'm gonna have to move this a little bit. That's a little bit better. Could be better though, still. That's a problem for later. I'm just gonna do this. And all right, let's try shifting this a little bit to make sure it's to figure out if it's going to straighten out, and not sure. I don't think that works very good. Okay. I'm gonna subdivide here just to add an extra little point for the curve to bend. Alright. Still doesn't look that good. I'm just gonna add a circle here just to help with aligning this thing. Just gotta rotate this since it spawns horizontally. And there we go. Move this down a little bit. And I gotta make sure that the top of this circle is in line with the 100-meter mark. Right around here. That's good. Now to align the tangent of the circle with the hill. That looks about right. Oops. Okay. Alright. Now to align this thing with the circle, I'm gonna shift this up a little bit. Gonna have to move the circle a little bit since it's my calculations are a little bit off. Yeah, that's better. Okay. Alright, set that back to the curve. And I'm gonna put that there. This around here. Yeah, this is a bit of a thing to work with. But yeah, I'm just learning this. Learning as I go. So that way next time I do this, it'll be a lot easier. Alright. And now put an X-ray to make sure that the circle is aligned. There we go. And I think we'll come back to this. I'll come back to that later. For now, I'm going to work on the drop. And this drop is going to be pretty steep. Not exactly 90 degrees, like straight down, but almost 90 degrees. Almost straight down. And since we're so high up, it's going to be a lot of speed. So we're going to have a really, really wide curve here. So this first drop is going to be very, very similar to Pantherian at King's Dominion. That's kind of the whole inspiration for this project. Shift that up a little bit. We're going to go below ground a little bit since I want to have a little tunnel and not a curve laterally. Get the lateral curves here. Alright, that's what it looks like right now. So far, so good. to make the turn to the right. And this is just like Pantherian, it's going to go directly underneath the lift hill. Kind of perpendicular, but I wouldn't say perpendicular because this time we're going to go kind of at an angle, but still going under the lift hill. I think this should be a little bit wider. I'm just gonna add a little extra here just to visualize this turn. Alright. Gotta widen this a little bit just by shifting these a little bit. Alright. So far so good. And now to go directly underneath, towards the underside of the lift hill. And right here, I'm just gonna add a little extra, like, orientation here to make sure it's straight for the most part. Alright. Not bad, not bad. Go back to global orientation here. And alright. Wow, that is quite the drop there. That is 320, more than 320 feet tall. The drop itself, though, is probably like more than about 330 feet. That's bonkers. Anyway, it's time to come back to this and make a few adjustments to the top of this hill. Alright. Nope, that's a bit much. There. It's looking a lot better, though. I will say that. Move this a little bit. There we go. Yeah, there we go. There we go. Just making sure, or picking a spot for the circle to go around. This time I'm lining the circle with the top portion of the spine. Alright. And gotta move that down a little bit. There we go. This one's a little bit down. And there we go. And the rest is alright. It's actually perfect because it's just a drop. Nice. Now that might seem like a very wide turn, but for the speed it's going, for the speed it would be going here, it's actually a lot of force being, a lot of G-force. Now to actually start making a little hill here. this up a little bit. So far, so good. Okay, nice. Deselect that segment. Okay. This one, okay. There we go. Now we got ourselves a nice little arch. Make the hill a little bit higher. Move that down. That one too. Nice. Very nice. And that's what it looks like so far. Alright. Now, to figure out the tilting, it's time to tilt the track. It's about time we do that. So I'm going to take that part of the curve, this one too, and I'm going to use the tilt tool here to tilt the track, obviously. And for the speed it's going, that it looks about right around here. Nice. Now just making sure that the transition between the turn and the curve is good, and so far it is. Nice. That's a lot of banking right there. Now, okay. Zoom out. I'm gonna lift this up a little bit so it goes from the underground tunnel to the surface, because you still want that little speed effect. Because the goal here is when you're going really fast, really close to the ground, you feel like you're going very fast compared to if you're going really fast, like high above the ground. Reason why that works is because when you're closer to the ground, everything around you kind of flies by really fast because of how close it is to you. And you're able to compare that speed and be like, whoa, compared to when you're high above and you're seeing like everything around you is kind of moving a little bit slower than if you were closer. So that's why that works. All right. Now I'm gonna go to fly view, fly navigation, to visualize how it's looking. You have to visualize the tilt. Alright, that's pretty good. Oh boy, it's getting pretty steep right here. will need to decrease the banking for this little area. Actually, you know what? Probably it's best that I bank this whole thing since it's kind of out of, it's not aligned very good. So I'm going to select this portion of this hill. By the way, if you're wondering how I did that, how I selected all of that, just hold Control and then click on the section and we'll automatically go there. It's pretty cool, very useful. Anyway, now I just have to align these lines a little bit like this to make sure it is tilted up. It doesn't have to be 100% perfect, just as close as possible. We don't want to see double, basically. Yeah, that should be good. There we go. See, now that tilt is a lot better. And I think that looks a lot better too. So far, so good. Just gonna decide to hide the circle there and put the person origin. And yeah, that's so far so good. I'm gonna do part 2 to this probably. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. And have a good night, good day, or yeah, just bye.